Good evening, option traders. This is Sam, the Trader Geek, with your Thursday night, August 8th, 2024 options review video. Hope you had a good trading day. And as you can see on the screen, lots of green everywhere, except if you are the VIX, down about 14.5%. And doing the best among the indices was the NASDAQ, up almost 3%, 2.87%. And everything else was up 1% or more, even the Toronto Stock Exchange. Dow doing 1.75%, S&P up 2%. So a pretty good day, though. We're just getting back what we lost in the afternoon yesterday. So we'll take a closer look at that. On the bond side, most of the Treasury bonds were up, except our lowly TLT, since we have a trade in that one, was down 59 cents. Not a very good bond auction today on the 30-year bonds. Commodities, everything positive except the corn eaters, but not looking too bad, with silver faring the best today, and nat gas, which is seasonally positive in August, was up 2.31%. Cryptos were doing very well across the board. Ethereum doing the best on the day, followed by Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin kind of similar, but everything was up as far as the major cryptos. Looking at the sector of the S&P 500, all in the green, utilities barely up 8 cents or a tenth of a percent. So we've got a lot of green, with technology leading the way. I don't have the normal daily summary for you. It's not refreshing for whatever reason. We'll have to figure that out over the weekend, see why my little PIP tool is not working properly today. Taking a look at the SPX, let me take away some of these drawings, make it a little less busy, but here's yesterday's candle. This is a daily chart of the S&P 500, closing under the 100-day yesterday for the third day in a row, and today we just eked right over the 100-day. We're being held down by the 8 EMA, but this is yesterday's candle, and here's today's candle. We didn't even hurdle yesterday's high, which was 53.30. We got as high as 53.28, but no question about it, very positive day. We held the gains for a change, so that augurs for some follow through. We're seeing a little bit of twist in the MACD. Hopefully that turns up, and obviously from a greatly oversold RSI position, you can see here we're back up to 40 on here. But I'm going to put those drawings back on and show you where things are. Yesterday we were at the lower edge of the expected move. Now we moved up a little bit higher from there, and we're inching closer to the close of last week. So kind of regaining what we've lost on the week, no more, no less. Our implied move for the top end is about 54.80. I would be very surprised, because we first have to get through the 8, and then we have the 20 and 21 EMA and the 50 moving average. So lots of hurdles to get through. Doubt that we'll get even much above last week's high. Take a similar look at the NASDAQ chart, and here's yesterday's candle. We basically retraced that today and held the gains. We did not, we actually came right to yesterday's high, and that's where we kind of closed the day. We're at last week's close. So tomorrow is going to be pivotal to see if we can make any further progress. And this red dot here is a parabolic stop and reverse. That's a volatility stop. And if we can close above that on Friday, that's a really good sign for some follow through next week. But that's on the NASDAQ at 18,483. I've got an alert on that. We're under the 8 EMA as well and under the 100 SMA. So lots of overhead supply here. Can't get too excited, but it was a positive day in that we closed above the yeah, we closed with the gains intact, so to speak, on the day. We didn't fade like we've done the last couple of days, but it's kind of the 3-day rule in action that uh, the first day the smart sellers sell, second day the semi-smart sellers sell, and then on the third day the dumb money sells. And here we are on the third day, not selling. Taking a look at the VIX, we are inside the Bollinger Band, and so kind of got a confirmed buy signal since this is the second day closing inside the Bollinger Band. Obviously, the last couple haven't worked in with this volatility spike. We've got a bit of work to do, but it is a positive sign that the VIX lost 14.5%, and we're back inside the lower Bollinger Band, upper Bollinger Band. On a weekly basis, we're forming a huge topping tail from that open on Friday up to the 65 level. So volatility is normalizing, although it is above average, average being about 19.5. And since we're looking at the VIX, we might as well look at what the implied move is, or at least how the VIX calls are pricing out. Since we're at 23.79, let's call it 74. Let's go $1 out of the money, and these are pricing in at about, the calls are pricing in at about $2.32. Go out $1 to the 23s, and they're pricing at 340. So the puts are priced about 50% more than the calls, and that argues for more risk to volatility downside than upside, which means that's a positive for the market. Although I usually like to see one or the other being multiples, but at least the VIX options aren't telling us much about what that there's risk to the downside, at least severe risk. Obviously, that can change at any time, but I look at that as a positive sign for the market that the VIX puts are more expensive than the calls, at least for now. Looking at the expected move in the SPX, we have 1 day to go, and we're expecting about a 58-point move for tomorrow. Today we had you don't see it anymore. Obviously, it's gone. We had a 74-point move expected for today, and we actually got a 94-point move. So again, the market is not necessarily pricing risk properly. If it were, then we would stay inside the expected moves. And this week's total expected move was about 134 points, and obviously we got that on the first day of the week. Speaking of tomorrow, look at that. Rarely see a blank slate for the economic calendar. There's nothing coming out. So no Fed head speaking, no economic reports. I don't see that very often. So that'll be a nice day with no bias in terms of pushing the markets around. As far as earnings, after market, we heard from Gilead. The trade desk is trading up. Paramount is trading up a little bit on some news of some cost cutting, and Sweet Greens is up big time as far as I saw, and Akamai is also trading up. And for tomorrow, we really don't have anything of to mention, so to speak, of earnings with these companies. I don't know if anybody trades these, but so we've got a Friday, summer Friday coming up. Obviously, anything can happen, but doesn't seem like there's much news unless we get something from overseas to kind of shake things up. So with that, let's take a look at our option trades and call it a night and bring up our spreadsheet. So we'll start with the top, switch to the charts, and we're looking at AbbVie. We've got a put sale at 170 put in September. Uh, we're up about 28% on this. Obviously, no matter how well the stock is doing, when you have short premium and option and volatility is high, these options are going to have a tough time decaying. But we are up 28% on these. AbbVie holding the 8 EMA very well and looking like it wants to attack the old high pretty quickly. CrowdStrike starting to turn the corner a little bit. So I decided that we would take advantage of the move and close out the puts that we put on a few weeks ago and scored about a 70% profit on those and moved into the next week's 200 calls, which have about a 97% or 93% chance of expiring worthless. So collected about 59 cents after we closed the other ones. So it kind of extends the trade a little bit without very much risk. And since these expire before earnings, absent any unexpected news, these should decay pretty fast, especially if CrowdStrike holds up and runs up a little bit into earnings. So far, so good. So thought we would kind of add to our positivity now that the stock is running in our favor. Um, Cisco having a nice day, up day. Fairly non-volatile stock, but it can be volatile. We're up about 15% on these calls, and we're looking to get $2 on these. So if this starts running, and even if it runs up to the 50-day, I think we'll get our first target on this. So keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Took a new trade, a long-term trade in Disney, and I think if we're not at a bottom or near a bottom, we could go down a couple of bucks, but I thought it was a good time to start a long-term swing position. And there we took a 90 105 call spread, and I might look at a short, a bull put spread on this one. Let me see if the data will come in. And see if I can get it refreshed on the fly. Okay, take me back. Try this again. There we go. Okay, so up a whopping 4% on this one. So we caught it in the red and it turned around today and closed basically unchanged from yesterday. So there's going to be fits and starts, especially as it goes through the bottoming process. That's why I went out to January, and I think we'll get an opportunity to sell some bull put spread. So I like Disney. They reported good numbers for the streaming services. So hopefully that one will work pretty nicely for us. GM had a good day, up 5%. And so our that helped our calendar call spread, but this is all the way out in 2026, still down 25% of it. Nothing to talk about there. We are out of lift, but it's nice to see that it came up a bit. I'm looking for some stabilization to perhaps put another put play on that one. Triple M turned a little bit green today. Still holding very well from the earnings gap up. So this is definitely one I'll be considering to rolling out to September, but we're up 66% on it, looking good, hasn't done anything wrong. And the only thing wrong that we've done is perhaps buy some calls on this. Match.com, our next long play, a nice green, holding the 8-day, and we're down a little bit on these given kind of the market downdraft, but still have till January, not worried at all about this one. Procter and Gamble, Staples holding up well, and our puts are up 60%. This is probably going to be a play where we keep rolling it as long as Staples and Procter and Gamble is a low risk put sale, assuming that we don't have any bad news out of them. Our QQQ put spread finally profitable for us, and it's tempting to add to this, but I just want to see more stability with volatility still at 24 or near 24. Still being careful, but hopefully if you added to this, you added small, and we haven't seen a volatility collapse, although it's down 2/3 from the peak. But so far, so good. SDS, obviously, this is going to go opposite the index. If we're on the road to rallying, then we want to keep an eye on this. Right now, we still have about a 94% profit on it. We have taken 4 profit targets on it, but I'm not going to let this get below our cost, and I'll evaluate based on the action tomorrow. I still think there's volatility to come. We could see a retest of the lows from Monday, but that could be a far way off, and we don't want to lose the value that we've accumulated. I wouldn't blame you if you trimmed them down to a quarter or 1/5 or less. SoFi had an okay day. We're up about 16%. These are out in January. Not much to say about those. SPY, finally, with volatility coming in, we're still underwater on these. We did take 1 price target on it, but because of the short call and short put in October, we're waiting kind of for the volatility to come out of them, and that way we can get to our next price target. But right now, the volatility is still elevated, and even though, well, we do have the SPY also where we're quite a bit out of the money since we have a 545, 555 call spread. So we got a ways to go. STX, also having a good day, held down by the 100-day, and we finally we're back profitable on this. Recall that this was a roll from last month, so we got quite a ways to go, but I like STX. It's above the 200-day, and it's a good value play. And if tech is going to start moving up, this will move with it. Walmart is our last play. Going sideways was green. So we have kind of a break even on this. Earnings next week. So we're going to be either rolling this out or taking it off. I'll probably roll this out because I like Walmart and I'm not terribly worried about this one. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions for me, Trader Geek Sam in the forum or on Twitter @TraderGeek. I'll see you in the forum tomorrow and have a good night. Thank you.